Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. Today we're gonna be answering pandas project exercise so we can test our information and our knowledge that we cultivated throughout the videos that we made or we watched. So today we have an example of this data set, okay? And this dataset contains booking information for a city hall, and the first thing we need to do to answer a data frame is understand what is the data frame it's talking about. So here we have some information about the data. We even have a data column reference to understand our data more. So this data contains booking information for a city hotel and a resort hotel, and includes information such as when the booking was made, length of stay, the number of adults, children, and/or babies, and the number of available parking spaces, among other things. All personally identifying information has been removed from the data. Acknowledgements, the data is originated from the article. Okay, and this is where is it from. And here we have a note that names, emails, phone numbers, and credit card numbers are all fake, so it's not really important. Here we have some more information to understand what we're supposed to do. Okay, it breaks down the columns and what does it mean and what type of data is stored inside, either numerical, integer, categorical. There is many other things, and we have more, an entire breakdown of what they are. So let's go to the questions and answer the questions that are there, that are available. So first task, complete the task shown in bold below. The expected output is shown in a cell. So here we need to answer the questions, and there is an expected output that we're supposed to mimic or imitate, or that's how our answer is supposed to be in a cell below. Be careful not to run the cell. Yeah, okay. So first of all, the first task is obviously we need to read our CSV file and import pandas. So yes, we read. The first thing we did was import pandas, obviously, and read our CSV file. And this is how our data looks. Okay, we're just checking the first five rows. So yes. Now, for the first question is where it's asking how many rows are there. So the first thing we did is we used the length function on the hotels. We named our CSV file or our data frame as hotels. Okay, so we used the length function on hotels, and it showed us that it has this amount of rows. And here is the correct answer that we're supposed to get. The second question is saying, is there any missing data? If so, which column has the most missing data? So for this, we need to use two methods that we learned. We first call our data frame, obviously, and ask is null. When we do is null at first, it shows us the table like this. It shows true if the table is null, if the value is null, and it shows false if it's true. But we wanted the sum, so how are we supposed to do this? Is we just add dot sum, and it shows us everything that is null. So as you can see here, we have 488 countries as null, and this amount of number for agents, and for total kids. Okay. Here, it's telling us how it's supposed to look, but this is a bit different because I added. There is a question that asks for more columns for you to add more columns, so that's why we're having total kids here and not there. Anyways, yeah. So the answer, yes, missing data, company column, missing this number of rows. So here we have a question that asks us to drop the company column from the dataset. So there's as we can see here, the company row is available, and it has the most amount of missing or null data. So we're dropping it. So we call the drop function on it. We name the column that we want to drop, and we set that it's an axis one, which are the columns, and in place is instead of just doing hotels equal to hotels, this is, and it does it automatically. It's an easier way of doing it. So now a harder question is here. It's asking what are the top five most common country codes in the dataset. So here we have the correct answer. So we're gonna try to get the correct answer. So what we're supposed to do is we're gonna call our data frame and choose country, and then we need to call the dot value counts method, and then it's gonna count everything that isn't unique, that is similar. So we get these, but we only want the first five. Okay. So how do we get this? Is by simply typing, sorry, dot head, and we'll get the top five values. Another question is, what is the name of the person who paid the highest ADR average daily rate? How much was their ADR? So first, we're gonna ask for we're looking for who paid the highest ADR. So we have a column that is named ADR. So first, we're grabbing the hotels ADR column, okay, and we're asking for the index of the highest value available in that column, and we named it under a variable called place, okay, and then we called hotels. We called our data frame hotels, and we used the method dot location, and inside location we placed place. We typed place because it has the index that we were looking for, and I said we also need the name and ADR because the question asks for the name and ADR. How much did they pay? And when we run the cell, it gives us the same answer. But the only difference is the organization here. ADR is at the top and name is at the bottom. Doesn't really make any difference. We can change it. It's not really a big deal. So this is how you can answer this question. Here it's asking the ADR is the average daily rate for a person stay at the hotel. Okay, so ADR is the average daily rate, how much he paid for a day. Okay, what is the mean ADR across all the hotel stays in the dataset? So here we called the ADR column, and we simply just pass the mean function, and here in the question it's asking for it to be 2 decimal points, so we just rounded it. The q we named this yani, function or question as q, and the 2 is simply implying 2 decimal points, and we get the same answer. Here another question is, what is the average mean number of nights for a stay across the entire data set? Feel free to round this decimal to round this to 2 decimal points. So here what they're asking for is the average mean of number of nights for a stay across the entire data set. So they're asking for the mean of nights, number of nights. So here how we're supposed to do this is we create a new column called total nights, okay, and then how do we get the total nights is we add we make total nights equal to stays in weekend nights column plus stays in weeknights, and then we simply we call them mean method, and then we round it to 2, and our answer is there as the question was asking. Here this question, what is the average total cost for a stay in the dataset? Okay, so they're asking for the total cost for stay in the dataset. Average total cost for stay in the dataset. Not average daily cost, but total stay cost. You need to calculate the total cost yourself by using ADR on weekday and weeknight stays. Feel free to round this to 2 decimal points. Here we created a new column called price per stay, and we're saying that we made it equal to total of nights, which was our previous column that we made, okay, which was the total of weekend nights plus week nights, and here we multiplied it by the ADR, and then we called the mean function and we rounded it to 2, and we have our answer here. We have here another question is, what are the names and the emails of people who made exactly 5 requests, 5 special requests? So how we're supposed to do this is here we called our data frame and we asked for for total of special requests, and our condition here is exactly 5. Okay, so we're asking it to be only 5, and then we call the location method, and we call the location method for the things that are for our condition. Okay, we only want our condition to be presented, and we are also saying we want the name and email for these people, and here we have the table here, and if we compare it to this, it's gonna be the same. Here we have what percentage of hotel stays were classified as repeat guests. Do not base this off the name of the person, but instead of the is repeated guest column. So they made it easier on us. They have a repeated guest column. So here, how do we do this? Is total of repeated equal to. So we called the is repeated guest. We counted the value or the amount of the people that got repeated, and then so here they want the percentage. So we're supposed to know how many rows are there. So I used the length function again on hotels, which gave us the amount, and then the final total. Okay, how do we get it? Is by total of repeated index 1 divide by length multiply by 100. So why did I type here index 1? Because if let me copy this and open a cell. Okay, so for example, let's put this as a comment for now, and we say we want length. So length is this number, okay, and total of repeated when we run it, we have 2 values. So the values it gave us 2 indexes, index 0 and 1. 0 means the ones that did not repeat. Okay, they're representing the customers that did not repeat, but 1 represents the customers that did repeat. Okay, because in the dataset it's represented either as 0 or 1. 0 is not repeat guest, but 1 as repeat guest. That's why we call the one index. Okay, I hope this explains it. And then because it's asking for percentage, we divided it by the length, which as we saw was 1000 something, if I'm not mistaken, and then we multiplied it by 100, and after we multiplied it by 100 we rounded the final total to 2 decimal points, and as we can see here it's 3.19 as the question was expecting. What are the top 5 most common last name in the dataset? Bonus, you figure this out in 1 line of pandas code. For simplicity, treat a title such as MD as a last name, for example. So they gave us an example of what the last name could be. So MD counts here as the last name. So how are we supposed to do this? First of all, we call our name column, and then we use the str function method, and we want to split on any blank spaces, because usually when you write a name there is a blank space in between. and then we say we want the index of -1. We want anything that is last, because we don't know how many how long or how many names, like how long the name is. For example, maybe it's written, for example, Muhammad Adil Ahmed, for example. We don't know. Maybe someone wrote two names. Maybe someone wrote like a very long name. So we don't know. So that's why I typed it as -1, because we always want the uh, last index from the split. And then we told it to value counts to count the last name and see if there is repetition. And I called the dot head because we want to see the top 5, and this is how we got the result. And as we can see, the answer is correct. What are the names of people who had booked the most number of children and babies for their stay? Don't worry if they cancelled, only consider number of people reported at the time of their reservation. Okay, so here we need to create a new column called total kids. This is the one I was talking about. And then we made it equal to the column babies and columns children. We summed them together and made it equal to total kids. And then we called hotels our data frame and set dot sort values. Wanted to sort values, but what did we want to sort? We wanted to sort total kids. Okay, this is the column that we want. Okay, and we said we also want ascending folds, so from high numbers to low numbers. Okay, and I called in place equal true, so it works. Okay, and we said we want these columns, hotels, column name, adults, total kids, babies, children, and I said head 3 because we want the top 3, or it could be anything else, but the correct answer, they want the top 3 here, so that's why I wrote top 3. And this is how to do this question. We have here another question: what are the top 3 most common area code in the phone areas? Area code is first 3 digits. Okay, so this is a side note. So here, if we call this hotel area code, sorry, if we call this, if we check this, how does it look like? So here are the codes of these are the 4 numbers, and as the note implies here, the area code is the first 3 digits. So we want this. So what can we see is familiar or similar to all of the phone numbers is every 3 digits is separated by this underscore. So how are we supposed to do this? Answer this question. So here we created a new column called area code, and we said it's equal to hotels, our data frame, phone number, the column phone number, and we wanted to split on this underscore, as you can see here, and we want the first index. So when we split this will be index 0, this will be index 1, and this will be index 2. Okay, so we always want the first index, okay, which is 0, and by doing this it will always give us the first the area code. And then the question says what are the top 3 most common area codes. So here we're asking for dot value counts, we're counting how many repetitions are there, and then we're asking for the top 3, and as we can see here, it's correct. This is how it's supposed to be. How many arrivals took place between the 1st and 15th of the month, inclusive of 1 and 15? So 1 of 15, we're counting 1 of 15 into this. And there's a bonus question: can you do this in one line of pandas code? So here, hotels, our data frame obviously, and we're looking at the arrival date of month, and we're asking anything between 1 and 15, and then we're asking dot value counts. Okay, So when we said dot value counts, it counts how many iterations. But here, why am I asking for the first index again? If we remove it, it gives me true and false. False obviously represents the amount that wasn't present any day between the 1st and the 15th, and true obviously represents the ones that were there. So obviously you can see this as index 0 and index 1. So we want the true obviously, so that's why we typed index 1, and the answer is correct as we can see here. Here we have a hard bonus question. Okay, create a table for counts for each day of the week that people arrived at. So here what they're asking us is for us to know the date of the name of the date and how many people are there or came at that day. Okay, using only the date, year, and month. Okay, so how are we supposed to do this? Obviously, we need the datetime library, so we're importing it. Okay, and then we named these are the columns that we're gonna use, so we named it under columns, or this is or under codes variable. Okay, and we created a new column called date, and we said the date equals to hotels columns, and we used an apply function using lambda x, and we said join them on underscore, so there is spaces between them, so we told it to join them on an underscore, and x dot values as type str axis equal to columns. Okay, then hotels date equal to pd dot time. Okay, so first we changed the values as we changed it to an str. Okay, to make it work, and then later on we asked the column, we asked pandas to turn it to a date time column, and then here we're asking for the table. We created a new table because it's asking for a new table and counts for each day of the week. Okay, so yes, we created the pd data frame, and we said hotels date. Okay, and then we use the strf time to tell pandas that we want it written like this to count. We want the date names. Okay, and the %a represents these. Okay, represents the name of the days, and we told it to value counts, and as we can see here, it counted the days as we were expecting, and this is how to answer this data frame and its questions, and thank you.